If, as the song says, everything old is new again, then Huntington's Transit Authority has found a new twist on an old favorite that celebrates the city's heritage. Founded in 1870 to be a river and rail hub, Huntington is clearly a city built on the foundation of transportation. Therefore, it's no surprise that the city's public transit system, dating back to the 1880s, helped to create two of the city's greatest landmarks, a century apart. In an era before the automobile, trolleys pioneered the idea of public transportation in cities around the world. American cities like Huntington had classic electric streetcar lines that were sleek and elegant.
The streetcars are a very integral part of the history of this city. When the city was first being built, they were part of the what we today call infrastructure. Tremendously important to downtown commerce, because that was long before the days of the automobile and the bus, and that was simply the most efficient means of transportation and had a lot to do with the economic development of this city and the movement of people to and from goods and services, as well as entertainment.
Trolley companies either paid a flat rate for their electricity or generated their own in an era when electricity was still a novelty. Few homes used it, and there was little income to be made from it. So, trolley companies made their true income from riders, which meant that they had to find a way to get more riders or get riders to go longer distances. The idea was to build parks at the end of their lines at the edge of town that would feature picnic grounds and amusements.
Streetcar companies had fewer and fewer people as you got to the end of the line, and they wanted reasons for people to continue riding. Obviously, if they continued riding, they continued paying fares, and there was nobody coming back. And you didn't maybe have a full load until you were getting closer to town. So to do this, if they had a place like an amusement park, there was a reason for people to stay on, and then if they stayed on the end, they had to pay to ride back. So you got fares both ways.
Called trolley parks, this forerunner of the amusement park would increase ridership on weekends, get people to take the trolley a greater and therefore more expensive distance, and even create new income from park admissions and ride tickets. Like other communities of the day, Huntington was a booming city, shaking off the dust of provincialism to embrace the Gilded Age. And the city's trolley line built its own Camden Park. Opened in 1903 and named for the city's Camden Interstate Trolley Company, Camden Park flourished along with the city and the booming industry of the three-state region along the Ohio River. The Camden Trolley Company became the Ohio Valley Electric Railway, and its synergy with the park helped make it an entertainment hub for the city and state. At the turn of the 20th century, there were hundreds of trolley parks in towns all over America. But of course, times change. Around the country, the toils of the two world wars, a depression, and changing trends would shutter many trolley parks, not just in smaller towns, but in major cities as well. Philadelphia would lose Willow Grove. Washington, D.C. would lose Glen Echo. And Columbus would see the closing of Olentangy Park. Today, there are only 12 trolley parks still open in America, and Camden Park is one of them. In fact, Camden Park is one of the 40 oldest amusement parks in the world, putting it in the company of Tivoli Gardens in Denmark and Blackpool Pleasure Beach in England, as well as nearby favorites Cedar Point near Cleveland and Kennywood in Pittsburgh. But what about the trolleys that shaped early mass transit? Well, as everyone knows, they were replaced with buses that could more affordably reach the post-war suburbs that turned compact cities into sprawling metro regions. Huntington was one of the first communities in the nation to make the transition. The Ohio Valley Electric Railway became the Ohio Valley Bus Company, and later the Tri-State Transit Authority.
In my understanding, this was the first bus company east of the Mississippi to go just straight to bus as the first public transportation system.
However, in a city built by railroad tycoon Collis P. Huntington, it should surprise no one that residents had grown nostalgic for the old trolleys. In the 1980s, America was embracing the new trolley buses, which imitated the style of the California streetcar.
Because of Huntington's rich transportation history, especially tied to both rail and old trolley cars, the leaders of Tri-State Transit Authority decided in 1984 to try to replicate the old trolley system.
The new trolley buses were a hit for a while.
If you were on the outside looking in, you thought they were wonderful. If you were on the inside looking out, that was a different story. Through the summer and in the wintertime, because of the open air trolley, it was an uncomfortable ride. As time went on, we got more and more requests to take them off the routes. And we started using them basically just as special events vehicles for parades, weddings, and other events such as that.
Meanwhile, a new development was taking shape downtown. Pullman Square was rising on the grounds of what had been planned as the Superblock. Just as the trolley company built Camden Park at the turn of the 20th century, so too did Huntington's bus company, now known simply as the Transit Authority, help to build Pullman Square at the turn of the 21st century. Teaming with a private developer, Metropolitan Partners, TTA administrated the funding for the transportation aspect of the development, which made it a viable project. Pullman Square is a multi-use facility that mixes shopping, dining, and entertainment with transportation in a complex that embodies an industry buzzword, intermodalism. Cars and buses meet at the square, delivering visitors where they have a one-stop experience. And a recent trip to a convention helped TTA's leadership to find a new way to satisfy a palate for the old and add to Pullman Square's nostalgic luster.
The general manager at TTA, Paul Davis, and I were at a trade show in Dallas, and I saw one of these sitting on the trade show floor. And I took one look at it and said, Paul, we gotta have those for Huntington.
With the older trolley buses retired to special events, the public's taste for nostalgia would be satisfied by their comfortable new trolley buses, which were put into their routes and immediately loved.
And the nice thing about this model of trolley bus is that on the inside, it is a genuine city bus with all the comforts of air conditioning, comfortable seats, and all the benefits to go with that, rather than being open air and something that'll kill you in the summer.
It is said that nostalgia is like a grammar lesson. We find the present tense and the past perfect. Over a century later, Camden Park is still delighting crowds. Pullman Square celebrates Huntington's railroad history, and trolley buses bring the charm of a more graceful age to a modern city, giving riders the opportunity to ride from the past to the present and into the future all at once.